Hello and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that really liked the movie Dunkirk, but liked it when it saw it the first time, when it was known as the first 40 minutes of The Empire Strikes Back. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Legendary X-Men, the new expansion from Upper Deck. Legendary X-Men from Upper Deck is the latest expansion, a big box expansion, and it's got a lot of new schemes, new heroes, new keywords, new villains, new masterminds, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from this new set. First of all, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the keywords that you will find on this new set. You have the X-Gene. Now, the X-Gene is an ability that lets you actually look through your discard pile, locate a specific icon or what have you. Then, if you've got that, it gives you that ability on the card that was played. You have something really interesting here called Piercing Energy. Now, with Piercing Energy, essentially, it lets you defeat villains and masterminds not with their attack, their strength point, but rather you're actually going after their victory point value. If you have enough Piercing Energy to destroy their victory point value, you can defeat them that way. You also have Berserk, and Berserk, Berserk, and Berserk, Berserk, Berserk. And every time the card says Berserk, you can essentially draw the top card of your deck. You can look at that, see what the value is of that card, the strength value, and add that to the total strength value of the cards you're playing. You don't keep that card in your hand, rather, you don't get any of the abilities. You simply put it in your discard pile, but for that turn, you do get its strength, its attack strength. You have something called Soaring Flight. Now, Soaring Flight lets you recruit a hero, and then you set it aside, you do your discards, you draw your new hand, and then you add that card you just bought and put it into your hand. So it's a way to get cards immediately into your hand and increases your hand size for your next turn. There's also cards that say Light Show. If you have 2 or more cards, play 2 or more cards that say Light Show. Depending on how many Light Show cards you have, you can only always play one Light Show ability. Even if you have multiple Light Show cards, you can only play one, but you have to play at least 2 Light Show cards, and you get 1 ability. Villains and bad guys can also dominate heroes. Essentially, you put the hero underneath the villain, they're dominated, and who's ever being dominated gets a +1 to their strength to defeat, so that makes them harder to defeat when they're dominating a specific hero. You also have human shields. Human shields are very often going to be bystanders. If it says Human Shields 2, you grab 2 bystanders, you place them face down under the villain, so you know they're not typical bystanders, they're human shields, and you of course have to go through them. You go through them before you can get to the actual villain you want to get by spending the same attack value equal to that villain on each of the human shields. Only then can you attack the actual villain. You also have something new in this set called Traps. Traps are part of your villain group cards. When you reveal a trap, it doesn't slide along. It's not a card that moves in the city there. Rather, a trap is like a special condition you must meet by the end of your turn. If you don't meet that specific condition, there is, of course, a penalty, and it's pretty nasty. So you want to try to avoid those traps, or at least try to complete them as best you can. Some of the Mastermind cards also have an epic side to them and a regular side, so you can it's kind of a difficulty setting. You can play epic if you want a harder struggle there. You also have horror cards, and horror cards are these kind of new, nasty surprises that come to your guys. I think all the epic Masterminds have the horrors in there, and there's various conditions that can bring out these horror cards. There are various cards that you really don't want to have to deal with, but if you do, be prepared, because they're nasty. Now, one cool thing this set also brings is heroic bystanders. Now, with heroic bystanders, essentially, they're bystanders. They work just like regular bystanders, but when you rescue them, they go in your deck, and you can play them just like a regular hero. So it's really cool. It's a fun new way to kind of combine heroes and bystanders, and they're kind of like X-Men in training that are being captured, but you can rescue them, and then they can use their powers to help you. Depending on some conditions in the game, too, you'll also be using some new token cards. And then we've also seen some things that are kind of reintegrating here. For instance, in Secret Wars 1 and 2, we saw some of the villains can actually become masterminds over the course of the game. And you've also got the double-sided cards, essentially the two-for cards, that, again, you can only use one of their specific card abilities when you play them, and card recruit points or attack points. You can only use one side of the card when you play it, but if you have to reveal something, you can reveal it it works for both. That's really exciting. That was one of my favorite things from the Civil War set, and it's back here in X-Men. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the new schemes in this deck. First of all, you have the Nuclear Apocalypse. Now, Nuclear Apocalypse is awesome. You got 5 twists in there, and essentially what happens is every time you draw a twist, you place it in one of the city spaces. It's like a nuclear bomb going off in the city. Once the city is completely destroyed by all 5 twists, then you, of course, lose the game. So you want to beat the Mastermind before all 5 bombs go off in the city. You've got Horror of Horrors, which is essentially you've got 6 twists. For 1 through 5, you play a random horror card. Again, these things are nasty. And then on the 6th twist that comes up, evil wins. There's also the televised death traps of Mojo World. Essentially, you have a number of wound cards in the wound deck equal to the number of players, or rather 6 per player, I mean. And then as you go through, you're gonna as the twists come out, you have to essentially pay attack to get rid of them. If you don't, every player gains a wound, and then sooner or later those wounds run out. You're going to lose. There's also Anti-Mutant Hatred, where the twists are essentially like an angry mob. Again, the wounds, there's a set number of wounds. The wounds are going to go into the hand of the, I think, player to the right, if I recall correctly, of the player that draws it. And once all the wounds are out, or the villain deck's out, of course, the evil wins. So, again, watch those angry mobs. Again, that is just some of the twists. I think there's 8 twists total in this game. Now, the Masterminds, again, as I say, you've got Masterminds, you've got 2 sides of the Masterminds. You've got kind of the good Masterminds, or I should say the easy Masterminds, and then the more difficult epic Masterminds. They're each double-sided, so they each bring their own kind of set of difficulty to the game that you can choose. The Masterminds in this set are Arcade, Dark Phoenix, Deathbird, Mojo, Onslaught, and Shadow King. Now, each one of these, of course, has their own tactics cards. They have their own, of course, individual things that happen as you play them, as you're trying to go through them. I haven't played all of the Masterminds yet, but the ones I have, again, very, very interesting. Your villain groups in this game are Dark Descendants, Hellfire Club, Sisterhood of Mutants, the Mojoverse, the Murder World, Shadow X, and the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. Like I say, each of those villain groups has unique traps, and you're going to watch out for those because that's, again, something new to this set. Now, you also have some new henchmen. You have the Brood, the Hellfire Cult, the Sapien League, the Shi'ar Death Commandos, and the Shi'ar Patrol Craft. But enough about that. Let's talk about what you want to talk about, the heroes. We got some really cool heroes in this set. We've got Aurora and Northstar. Now, I confess, I really don't know any, about these characters from the comic books, but they are pretty cool. They've got a number of the kind of the split cards, which is a lot of fun to use during this game. And their main hero card, their powerful one, is 7. It gives you Soaring Flight. All heroes you recruit this turn have Soaring Flight. And you have, of course, a Light Show effect. You get +2 attack for each Light Show card that you played that turn. So that one is pretty powerful. Next, you've got Banshee. Now, Banshee is a pretty cool card in this game. Now, his really powerful card is a cost 8 card, and it has Piercing Energy. If you have the right symbols, you can use attack as if it were the Piercing Energy that turn. So essentially, if you've got enough symbols, you can pretty much use him to take out a Mastermind or one of your more expensive victory point cards. Next is Beast, who is played by the irrepressible Kelsey Grammer in the greatest of the X-Men films, X-Men 3: The Last Stand. Really? The greatest of the films? Brett Ratner. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, his card is pretty cool. His high-cost card is pretty cool. It's a cost 8 card. You get 3+ attack. He's got Berserk. He's also got X-Gene with the X-Men symbol. And if you, of course, find another card with that symbol in your discard pile, you can return at 0 cost, a 3-point cost, or a 4-point cost card from your discard pile to your hand. So again, you can add more cards to your hand with his X-Gene. You've got Cannonball, who's got a cost 8 card. He's also got Soaring Flight and a 4+ attack. If you play at least 6 other cards that turn, you also get a +2 attack. So he, of course, the more cards you play, the more powerful he becomes. You got Colossus and Wolverine, who also have a number of these split cards as well, and their most powerful card is a cost 7. It's a 3+ card with Berserk, Berserk, Berserk. Then you could draw a card for each X symbol card you berserked. You've got Dazzler, whose Inspire the World card is a cost 7. She's got Light Show to put a hero from the HQ on the top of your deck, and she's a +5 attack, a very powerful card. You've got Havoc's Radiation Focus card. He's a cost 7. He gets a +3 attack. He's also got Berserk and an X-Gene ability. Jubilee's Prismatic Cascade card is a cost 7. She's got a 0+ recruit, a 5+ attack, and she's got a Light Show ability that gives you additional recruit and attack for each Light Show card you play that turn. Kitty Pryde's Lockheed, Kitty's Dragon, is a cost 8 card with Soaring Flight. It's got 0+ attack, but you put a card from the HQ on the bottom of your hero deck, and you get the plus attack equal to its cost. Someone was telling me that Legion was Charles Xavier's son. I don't know if that's the case or not, but anyway, he's a cool character. I really like his cards. He's got a lot of the split cards, which of course I like, but also, too, he has got the Maelstrom of Clashing Powers. Now, this has Soaring Flight. It's a 3+ attack, and you reveal the top 3 cards of the hero deck. You put their total printed attack and put them at the bottom of the hero deck. He gets all 3 of their attack value as well as his own. Very powerful card. Longshot's Escape from Mojo World is a cost 7 card. You can reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's a villain, you can put it at the bottom of that deck. He's got 5+ attack. If you got the X-Men symbol, you get additional attack equal to the printed victory points of the card you revealed. Again, this can be a very powerful weapon against evil. Phoenix's Driven Mad by Power card is one of the most expensive cards in the game. It is one of the most powerful cards of the game, and it is potentially one of the most dangerous cards in the game. It's a cost 9 card. It's got Berserk, 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 Berserk. She's got 6+ attack, but you have to KO all the cards you berserk, and if that makes at least 13 attack, then the Phoenix Force becomes corrupted by power and devours the earth. You win, evil wins, and all other players lose. That's right. Phoenix can go bad. Polaris has Reverse Polarity. It's a little play on her name there. That is a cost 8 card. It's got 4 recruit. It's got Soaring Flight and an X-Gene ability as well. Psylocke's Telepathic Ninjutsu is a very interesting card. It's a +7 card. It too has Piercing Energy with an attack of 3. You reveal the top card of the hero deck. The player of your choice puts it in their hand. So she can actually make other players more powerful or herself more powerful. She takes that card. But again, that Piercing Energy can be very powerful against Masterminds and villains. Finally, you have X-23, Heir to Wolverine. Now, if you saw the Logan movie, of course, she was a little girl in that. Now, this card is a cost 7. It's got Berserk, Berserk. It's got an X-Gene ability where you count the instinct cards in your discard pile, and you can Berserk that many times on a base 3+ attack. Again, a very powerful card. Now, all of these heroes, of course, have their own supplementary cards. I was just going over the most powerful cards. A lot of interesting abilities. A lot of those keywords are coming up here. Now, you play, of course, the scenario based on the scheme. You use the cards, the heroes, the villains, and then, of course, it is cooperative, but you can tally up those points at the end of the game. And that's just a basic overview of Legendary X-Men. So if you watch the show at all, you know when I review these Legendary expansions, I frequently say this is the best one yet. I say that a lot because I'm frequently amazed and just blown away at the creativity of how this game can evolve and mutate. Little joke. Within the context of the basic rules set. And I really, really like, I love Legendary for that reason. It's always coming up with something new and exciting. Now, I also tell people that if you're just going to buy one set, to buy one expansion set, rather, probably go with Dark City because you're going to get a lot of cards there, and it feels like a natural evolution of the core set. And the core set, going back now, if you just play the core set, it's still fun, but when you see all the directions it's evolved into, it's a little stiff. And to see where it's going with the expansions is really fun and remarkable. So, what do I think of this particular expansion? Well, I have to tell you. The horror cards are very cool. The Epic Mastermind stuff is very cool. X-Gene is cool. Berserk is cool. The multiple Berserks are really cool. Light Show's interesting. I gotta tell you, some of these hero cards, like I said, the Legion card that lets you pick 3 cards off the hero deck and just add their attack value to your hand, or to your attack that turn. That's very cool. The Phoenix ability, where she can turn evil and win the game, so it's a dangerous card to use. You don't know if you want to play that card. That's a very, very interesting twist to the game. The villain groups are interesting here. The henchmen are interesting. Like I said, the masterminds, the schemes, and the heroes are really good. And I love what they brought over from like Civil War with the split cards. I've said that 100 times now. I love the split cards, and I think they're awesome in this game as well. I'm no suspense. Not going to pull any punches, and I need to say it. This is the best expansion yet. It really is. I'm going to go so far as to say, if you can only buy one expansion, probably get X-Men. I really like this expansion a lot. This is really one of the most fun times I've had playing a Legendary game lately, and I always have fun. I always have fun playing Legendary. This one blew me away. Good combinations, good keywords coming up. Good, like I say, everything about this is just is good's not strong enough. It's phenomenal. I really, really like this expansion a lot. I don't know that I've met an expansion. No, I know for sure I haven't met an expansion in this game that I didn't like. Some more than others, certainly. I recently played Noir, which I liked, but I didn't love. This one I love. I love it. I love it so much. Legendary X-Men is phenomenal. So, without any further ado, the recommendation for the discriminating gamer is absolutely, if you are a fan of Legendary, you're going to want to buy this one. You're going to want to buy this one next. If you only have one big box expansion for Legendary, seriously, this one should be it. Maybe after this one, Secret Wars Volume 1 or Civil War. Of course, Dark City. They're all good. They're all good. Get this one first. Buy it. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer. Ladies and gentlemen, just remember, the true X-Gene is our compassion.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Join the Superhero Registration Act. Never. Don't do drugs.